So about a month ago, I created the hardest new Super Mario Bros. U challenge. And that video was quite a journey. There were ups, there were downs, we laughed, we cried, and overall I thought it turned out to be a pretty interesting challenge. But there were some loose ends that you guys pointed out to me in the comments that we're gonna be looking at today. And okay, I know YouTubers tend to oversay this phrase, but it's really true in this case. Because it is very necessary that you see the hardest Mario U challenge before you watch this video, since this is essentially part 2 of that challenge. In that first video, I explain all the rules for the challenge and just everything else that's going on here, so it's pretty necessary to see that one. And a link for that video is in the description or in the top right of your screen. Alright? Everyone gone? Only the people who've seen it are left? Perfect. Okay, so if you recall from that video, the run was mostly entirely possible except for one jump, in which I was literally this close to making. And this jump was of course in the Rock Candy Mine stage. I guess because of how close the outcome was of the video, it sparked a lot of you lovely viewers to comment your suggestions in how to beat this one jump. So why don't we try some of these viewer suggestions to maybe see if this jump is possible and if we can actually complete the challenge. The first suggestion I saw here was from Coder Real, and he said to try and spin jump off this piranha plant. This is because when spin jumping off a piranha plant, you actually go a lot higher than you normally would with just a regular jump. Well, that's the case in Mario Maker at least, even in the new Super Mario Bros. U style. But when it comes to the game that the style was based on, which is this game mind you, it simply doesn't work. You just die like normal. Honestly, this one kind of surprised me because it literally doesn't make any sense as to why this wouldn't work, and I even tried this in my first run, but it's still a very valid suggestion. And then another comment here from, well, just David, suggests to use the spin jump again, but this time to do it right before I jump in order to keep more momentum from it. And normally this is a good way to get more momentum if you're stuck on a single block or something without a runway. But without being able to sprint, it doesn't actually give me any more momentum. I still went the same amount of distance as walking and jumping. But another worthwhile attempt. So yeah, even with your viewer comments, this jump is still looking impossible. And that's the video, folks. So it looks like this jump, even after 2 whole videos of trying to do it, is still impossible and the challenge can't be done. I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, not really. While this jump is impossible, yes, what if there was actually a way to get around it? So remember in the first video that other way that was blocked by these 2 giant Red Koopas? Yeah, them. Well, one viewer by the name of Oxus Plays 487, okay, nailed it, suggested a very elaborate and in detail way of getting by this. Basically, the method would be to barely get over these 2 Koopas in the jungle level, then do a few more levels in the forest world. That would lead me to the secret exit in the forest ghost house. And then that secret would take me right to the Meringue Clouds world. And then from there on out, everything else in the run is possible as we saw in the first video. So this looks like a plan now. I mean, it's worth a shot, right? So back by these giant Koopa obstacles, I began attempting to jump on this tiny room on the pipe and then jump over him from there. But once again, this was seemingly impossible after I started trying it. This Red Koopa pretty well takes up the entire room on the pipe here, and he is a giant hitbox to get over. In order to have somewhat of a chance to get by this guy, you would have to perfectly time the jump so that when I land, the Koopa is on the far side to give me just enough room on the pipe, and then time it so he is just turning around and leaving the right side so I then have enough room to land on that side. And what makes this even harder is their stupid dances that they keep on doing that completely messes up my timing when I try and start the jump. But after trying this jump a bunch of times, I did exactly that. This jump required incredible precision. I had to start the jump at the exact time when he was just turning away, which allowed me to just have barely enough room to land on the pipe next to him by the time I landed. And this was all done so that he would turn around at the perfect time for when I was going to start my second jump. Basically, I had to start this second jump exactly when he was turning around. And this was done so that his big head wouldn't be in the way of my trajectory when I was trying to land on the other side. And even with all that, I couldn't make it to the next pipe after, but luckily I could still wall jump my way up. Provided that I timed my jump so I wouldn't hit this Koopa, of course, and then I was able to get by. And yes, that was the first big hurdle of this level complete, but it's far from over. This Goomba pal over here saves me the trouble of having to go around him by just killing himself, so that's much appreciated, but then we come to the second Red Koopa. And this guy's more obnoxious because now he is on this elevated platform this time, making it even harder to get over. Luckily though, we now have this green pipe wall that we can wall jump off of in order to keep some of the momentum to hopefully get over this thing. And then with timing that was similarly as precise as the last jump, and now timing it with the added wall jump, this jump is very hard to make as well. But yes, once again, this jump was barely possible, similarly to the last one. The landing though was a lot harder to stick, just because of how short this pipe is and how tall that pipe was. Combine that with this Koopa messing up my timing again with this stupid dance, it caused me to have to make this jump a few times before actually jumping on this high pipe up here. And there we go, both jumps are now done. So yes, shout out to Oxus once again, who was the first person to suggest this solution on my initial challenge video, and shout out to Talkative Yellow Toad, great name there by the way, who actually sent me a clip of him doing it on my Twitter page. And this just proved to me that this method was in fact possible. Thanks fellas! Now get lost, Talkative Yellow Toad, I'm completing the rest of the challenge. Then the rest of the stage had a literal army of giant Goombas, which was pretty nerve-wracking this late in the level, and especially after completing both of those difficult jumps. But at this point, I was getting pretty good at timing these jumps with the giant enemies, and was finally able to pass this level, which was a huge roadblock in the initial video. So let's continue on. So with that out of the way, this now leaves me with only 4 required stages left to complete to get to Skyworld and beat the challenge. The first one of which is on this split path here, and I just chose the left path because I don't know, I just felt like it. And this one did have a few scary instances, like this giant ledge. Damn, that looked impossible, until I realized they gave me some hidden blocks to use and continue on. And then there's this gap here, which gave me flashbacks to the jump in Rock Candy Mines, but it was a lot closer than that one, as it turns out. Then we have the castle level, which is just a bunch of waiting on these snake blocks, and honestly, this one might have been even easier while only walking. Okay, that's a bit of a stretch, but I feel like it was a lot harder to run off the edge when these blocks change directions since you're slower. The jumps over these electric things obviously had to be more precise than a normal run though. And after that, I got to the ghost house with the secret exit. And honestly, I forgot where the secret exit was at first and accidentally took the normal exit by mistake. So, after extensive research on the level, looking it up on YouTube, I was able to find and access the secret exit. This level did have a lot of these slow ghost lifts where I guess these ghosts would try and sabotage you on them, but by just spamming left and right, they can't even move. At all. And then here we are at the last level left to complete in order to finally put this challenge to rest. Flight of the Winged Shell, guys. And this level's just naturally hard on its own, giving you little space to work with at all. And yes, with this rule set, every jump was a lot more precise, and these giant bullet bills were a lot more threatening since I couldn't take any damage. But with enough perseverance and patience, I was able to complete the level, which took me right to Cloud World. And from the previous challenge video, we discovered that everything from this point onwards in the run is completely possible. So we can finally change the title of this challenge from challenge like almost complete, but I was literally just a smidge short of 1 jump, so give me some slack here, guys. Come on, I was so close to having this completed. To simply what I call challenge complete. And there we have it. This was the redemption arc needed to prove that this challenge was in fact possible. And thanks again for all the comments in the first video with these suggestions. Also, feel free to suggest challenges or different video games you want me to do challenges on for future videos, as I'm always open to new ideas. And in the meantime, you can check out my challenge playlist in the description to see the other challenges I've done. Okay, see you guys later.